Long time no see. Last time you guys saw me, I was possibly in Sedona in my Jeep, and yeah, the Jeep is long gone. I was pulled over for a tinted license plate, and if you've been following my journey, you would know that I was investigating Sedona and all the colonization encoded within that place, and whenever I finally posted my colonization decode on my social media platforms, the next day, that's whenever they pulled me over and towed my Jeep, and I was homeless for 10 days, dragging my entire life in a suitcase through Cottonwood, Arizona. That's where I ended up getting spit out at, was Cottonwood, Arizona. And this lovely lady from Serbia that's been following my story through Instagram, she sent me the funds to buy this van here. This is the new setup here. There's Scott back there. And, yeah, we got a nice little RV setup. Give you guys a view of where I'm at here. Over here in Santa Cruz. So right whenever I got the van, I was like, fuck Arizona, I'm going to Santa Cruz. So I ended up buying this van, and it was like a creeper black, and ended up painting it Scooby-Doo blue and green like the mystery van. It wasn't planned, it just kind of happened. And this guy gave me a surfboard, a wetsuit, and this bike and the bike rack, because I've been chilling out in this parking lot for a couple months now, and I haven't done a live since then. My last live, I was still in Sedona in the Jeep. Been on this mission standing against colonialism since today's actually 590 days that I've been on this mission. And today I'm actually contemplating going back to Utah today. And you're probably wondering, why the fuck would you leave this place? Why would I leave Utah? So, let me see which is the best way to set this thing up here. Let's see, I think that works there. Yeah, why would I leave Utah? Or why would I leave Santa Cruz and go to Utah? So, if you guys have been following my story, I channeled the Thoughts of Jed Pillars, and on 8/8 of 2022, connecting frequency with time and our calendar system. And on 5/19 of 2022, that's when I channeled that 181 symbol and connected it with the Flower of Life and the Thoughts of Jed Pillars and the Gregorian calendar and the whole, everything. So I finally, I built this thing back in 2022, not knowing what the fuck it was, and left on the mission standing against colonialism on November 4th of 2023. And from that day to today, it's been 590 days that I've been on this mission. So it's 1 year, 7 months, and something days. But yeah, massive fucking upgrades since the last time that I talked to you folks. And it's not a surprise that I was homeless for 10 days and they took the Jeep and literally lost everything. I was down to all my clothes were in my suitcase, and yeah, I was literally dragging my life in my suitcase for 10 days. The first day, the wheel fell off the fucking suitcase, and I was dragging a fucking one-wheeled suitcase, and rocks were like getting stuck, and I was dragging. There's, if you go on this one road in Cottonwood, you'll see rocks being like dragged for miles up fucking hill, and yeah, both my arms got super fucking jacked for like just like 10 days of pulling that suitcase around, and they've toned down since then. But yeah, I had to adapt literally, and yeah, if it wasn't for the one lady that bought the van, I'd still be fucking homeless in Cottonwood, Arizona right now. So, but thankfully, I've got all of my stuff organized into books, and I'm in publishing mode. I'm ready to publish all of my work, because so whenever I left on this mission, Standing Against Colonization, and I built this calendar system connecting the Dr. Jed pillars to the Gregorian calendar, connecting frequency with time, quite literally. I didn't know what I'd built, and I didn't know what the function of this calendar system was. And upon my investigation, 3 years later, it's been 3 years since I channeled this thing back in 2022 on 8/8. Well, it's coming up. I'm coming upon the third year here in August. But on 5/9 of 2022, that's whenever I channeled the ninth harmonic, the photon belt, and 11 days later on 5/19, that's whenever I channeled that 181 symbol, and I was in the 139th day of the year. So 99 minutes equals 139 in time, and 99 hertz is the ninth harmonic, and that's what I channeled 11 days before. So the conclusion of all this is that I finally figured out what this calendar has been being used for. Who created this Gregorian calendar? German Jesuit priest Christopher Clavius. German Jesuit priest. Let that fucking sink in. A German Jesuit priest, Christopher Clavius, created the Gregorian calendar with Pope Gregory the 13th, and yeah, this guy was an astronomer, mathematician, and the Order of the Jesuits, IXXI, is their little logo, and that represents 9/11 in Roman numerals. And 9/11 minutes equals 3/11 in time, like the adoption of the Confederate States Constitution on 3/11, and the Jewish Colonization Association on 9/11. Colonization. Two major colonization events, and the Jesuits are responsible. That's a major victory for Jesuit slaveholders, the adoption of the Confederate States Constitution on 3/11. And 3/11, how 9/11 minutes equals 3/11 in time, the date 3/11 equals 182 days after 9/11. So that number 182, one of the like colonization numbers of the fucking century, your Missouri Compromise of 1820, like 182 days after 9/11. So 3/11, your adoption of the Confederate States Constitution. 9/11, your Jewish Colonization Association. 3/11 being 182 days after 9/11. When your Missouri Compromise of 1820 is like 182. So this is all about the fucking Christ oil. Christ oil. Christ was crucified on 4/3. What's the next day? 4/4, like 44 hertz Nazi science. So the date 3/11 on my calendar cipher lands on 44 hertz. Just like 5/11, Romo says his twin brother Remo, 181, the fall of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire in 44 BC, when 5/11 in time equals 3/11 minutes, and 9/11 minutes equals 3/11 in time, the Lemuria, 44 BC, colonization, the fall of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. 9/11, the Jewish Colonization Association is created by your Bavarian philanthropist Maurice de Hirsch. And that was later taken over by Edmund Rothschild, who had, when did he have his settlements in Ottoman Palestine? In 1882, like 182, 182, 128, 1882. Always using the same fucking numbers. You're getting 57, getting 57. Christ is boiling in shit. Getting 57. The date 57 equals 128 days. And 128 days equals 18 weeks and 1 day, or 18 weeks and 2 days, like 182, like your Missouri Compromise of 1820. 128, getting 57. 5 hours and 70 minutes equals 610 in time, like your 61 circles in the Flower of Life. Leo, spelled in capital letters, L-E-O. Imagine that. Imagine Leo spelled in capital letters, L-E-O. Flip it upside down. It spells the number 37, 037. When 370 minutes equals 610 in time, Leo the lion holds the Flower of Life. There's 61 circles in that Flower of Life when 370 minutes equals 610 in time. 61 minutes equals 101. When you stack two 101s on top of each other, it creates the 181. When 610, when 610 in time converts to 1810 in time in military time. And 610 days equals 1 year, 8 months, and 1 day, like 181. Leo, like law enforcement officer. Google that shit. What does Leo stand for? Law enforcement officer, like 37 degrees in Freemasonry. James Marshall panned the first gold, setting off the California gold rush of 1850. The first jail that was ever created was the El Dorado jail on 218, like 128 and 1882 and 182, the Missouri Compromise of 1820, Edmund Rothschild's settlements in Ottoman Palestine in 1882. 128, your 7th Matic cell division being 128. 7. Your 7th Matic cell division, your 7th letter is the letter G, like the G in Freemasonry. The Freemason logo is a G, and the frequency 1540 hertz represents the note G, and the Jesuits were founded in 1540. Huh, interesting. It's also interesting that the Order of the Jesuits, their logo is IXXI, and IXXI in Roman numerals equals 911, and 911 minutes equals 311 in time. And from the start of this motherfucking genocide that happened back in 2023 on 10/7 to the adoption of the Confederate States Constitution on 3/11 of 2025 equals 1 year, 5 months, and 4 days. 1 year, 5 months, and 4 days. Like 154, like the Jesuits founded in 1540. They just shot themselves in the motherfucking foot. And from the, man, I really don't want to bust out my notes right now, but yeah, Christ being crucified on 4/3, the next day being 4/4, like 44 hertz Nazi science, like 5/11, 44 BC, like 3/11, equaling 44 hertz, that equals 71 days on the calendar on leap year. So 71, add a 0 to that, 710, 710, flip it upside down, like flip 7, write the number 710 and flip it upside down. It spells the word oil, like Christ oil. Christ being crucified on 4/3 when 430 minutes equals 710 in time. 710 in time. Flip it upside down. There's your Christ oil. And for 3/11 to equal 71 days, equaling 182 days after 9/11, like your Missouri Compromise of 1820 and your adoption of the Confederate States Constitution on 3/11. And 3/11 lining up with 44 BC. So watch this shit, kids, and see if you can fucking hang on to this. In 2024, that's when the Devil's Comet came by, and the Devil's Comet has a 71-year orbit, like 7/1, 7/10, mirrored and flipped being Christ oil. And 2024, when the Devil's Comet came by, minus 71 years, equals the year 1953, when Rockefellers, the owners of Standard Oil, changed the frequency from 432 hertz to 440 hertz. Like 44 hertz Nazi science. And 1953 minus 71 years, your Christ oil equals 1811. That's the year that the fucking Mississippi River ran in reverse from the earthquake that happened near the New Madrid fault line. And 1811 minus a 71-year Devil's Comet orbit equals the year 1882. I fucked up, sorry. 1953 minus 71 years equals 1882, the year that Edmund Rothschild started his settlements in Ottoman Palestine, and he later took over the Jewish Colonization Association on 9/11, when 9/11 minutes equals 3/11 in time, and the date 3/11 equals 182 days after 9/11, equaling 71 days, like your Christ oil, like your Missouri Compromise of 1820, 182 days after 9/11, like 1882, like Edmund Rothschild starting his settlements in Ottoman Palestine in 1882. So let's start this over again. 2024, that's when the Devil's Comet made a pass by. Passed by on 4/8 and then on 4/21. 111th day of the year, when 71 minutes equals 111 in time. So your Christ oil, your crown chakra, runs at 963 hertz. 963 hertz minus 111 hertz, your holy frequency, equals 852 hertz, your third eye audio. Your third eye audio, 852 hertz minus 111 hertz, equals 741 hertz, your throat chakra. Your Christ oil, 71 out of 0, 710. 430 minutes equals 710 in time. Christ was crucified on 4/3. 430 minutes equals 710 in time. 710, flip it upside down, there's your Christ oil. 71 minutes equals 111 in time. The space in between the frequencies. If you could imagine your crown being 963 hertz and it's secreting the oil, and it's in the shape of 3 little drops of oil, it creates the 111. It's the capacitor. If you look at a capacitor on electricity, it usually has 3 wires going into this thing. So that 111 is the space in between the notes. So 111 hertz is the number of the frequency that releases plasma endorphins. Endorphins are part of our, what is it called? Neurotransmitters. Plasma endorphins, excited by oxytocin. Here at the pineal gland in the hypothalamus chamber, the pituitary gland secretes oxytocin that stimulates the nitric oxide within the endothelium of your heart. Heart-mind convergence, the endothelium of your heart. It's the inner lining of your heart. So oxytocin is secreted. Oxytocin is secreted by the pituitary gland in the hypothalamus chamber, and that stimulates the endorphins, which 111 hertz stimulates endorphin release. Plasma endorphins are inner light. So whenever you get the piezoelectric effect, when you do your breath work, breathing through the nostrils and humming, that releases nitric oxide within the endothelium of your heart, and that is stimulated by the oxytocin in the hypothalamus chamber. So here at if you look at my Thought to Jed pillar charts, you'll see the Taurus. Here at the third eye audio, your auxiliary in, your auxiliary out, your oxytocin, stimulating the nitric oxide within the endothelium of your heart. Photon absorption, the number of photon absorptions is 137.5, the golden angle, 88, your third eye audio times 137.5, photon absorption equals 121. Land up here at the heart, the most electromagnetic organ of the body, when L11 times L11 equals 121, and L mirrored and flipped equals 73, when 730 minutes equals 1210 in time. And 1210 lands up here at the heart chakra, equaling 157 days, when 117 minutes equals 157 in time, and 1170 in time converts to 1210 in time. And the zodiac sign that lines up here at the heart chakra, Cancer. The sun transits the sign of Cancer, sitting at 90 degrees on the longest day of sunlight, summer solstice, 621. The sign of Cancer is at 69. Cancer sits at 90 degrees on the zodiac wheel. When 621 summer solstice divided by the position of Cancer, 90 degrees equals 6.9. The most electromagnetic day of the year, when 6 hours and 90 minutes equals 7:30 in time. 7:30 mirrored and flipped. L, like your electromagnetic heart, the most electromagnetic organ of the body. Now, going off on fucking rants. I haven't done a live here on YouTube in months, and I do most of my lives on Instagram, and you guys are so far behind from where I left you guys off, and yeah, so I basically fucking solved the calendar riddle. Like, what's this calendar being used for, and what's the whole purpose of this thing? And it's basically the shunning of the divine feminine, and every date on the calendar that lines up with 9 hertz from my Thought to Jet Pillar calendar cipher system, it's always lining up with that number 128 or 281 or 182, or those fucking numbers that are the colonization numbers, your Missouri Compromise of 1820, Edmund Rothschild starting his settlements in 1882, 128 being the 7th Midic cell division, 101 plus 128 days equals 59 the Lemuria, Romo says his twin brother Remo, 59, 181, 44 BC, the fall of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. We're talking about stories of colonization, and that number 59 is a colonization code within itself. 5 hours and 90 minutes equals 6:30 in time, when the date 6:3, or the date 6:30 equals 181 days, like the Lemuria, 181, and 590 minutes equals 9:50 in time, when the date 44 equals 95 days, like 59, the Lemuria, 44 BC, 181. So this connects with the Lionsgate portal on 8/8. 8/8 equals 220 to 221 days. The Lionsgate portal. So I'm gonna just show you guys, because I'm totally fucking holding off on you guys right now. Let's just get right into it. Your L11. See how that looks like the number 11? And that's your positive, and that's your negative cathode. And this is either two magnets in the shape of a straight line. That's your negative on top and your positive on bottom. Positive on top and negative on bottom. And it creates the electromagnetic force. And it looks like the number L11. Pretty simple, right? So the only way that you guys are going to get this shit is if I break this down to this level, to where this might be a little too much for you guys right off the bat. Let's see. Oh, shit. Hold on. I moved shit around. Alright, motherfuckers. There. This is the book I'm writing on colonization. This is just... What the fuck? This is the book that I'm going to be writing on, just channeling the electromagnetic force. I channeled the 181 symbol. The 181, that was also the 383 and the 1331. So how did I do this? I just used the circles from the Flower of Life, and I just created 4 circles and drew 2 lines on the side, and I saw, it's like, that looks like, if I was to cut this in half, it looks like the 181. See the 8 and see the 21? Or see the 181? See the 1331 if I was to cut this in half? And this gets really fucking trippy. Like, this is mathematical proofs of connecting this thing with the Flower of Life. Yeah, here we go. This is a little simpler version before I throw you guys into the fire. So there's your Flower of Life, right? And I created this symbol by using the circles from the Flower of Life. And I just used 4 of them and put the 2 lines on the side, and I saw the 181, I saw the 383, and I saw the 1331. And I realized that it was the electromagnetic force sigil symbol. You flip that, see how it's the electromagnetic force symbol? So if I was to flip this forward, if I was to flip these 2 bars forward, the tops of those bars, that's what that would look like. This is all about changing your perspective and having a fucking imagination. And I don't mean to be a dick, but I've been cooped up in my fucking car for like a year and 7 months, and yeah, everybody that's been following my shit, I've like lost pretty much everybody. And now that I've figured all this shit out, it's been crickets. So we got 19 circles in the Flower of Life, and we have 61 circles in the Flower of Life. If you mirror 19 and flip it upside down, it's a 61. And seriously take note of this theme here, how we're mirroring. We're not just, if I was just to mirror that, it would be a 91, right? But we're mirroring it and flipping it, so it's a 61. So keep this theme that we're starting this theme off of something that's already existing. I didn't fucking make up that there's 19 circles in the Flower of Life or 61. I Googled this shit. This is a fact of life that already exists, that we're starting off with. So 19 circles in the Flower of Life, there's 61 circles in the Flower of Life. You motherfuckers can Google this shit for yourselves and find out. You don't have to believe me. So now, I channeled this 181 symbol, the 383 and the 1331, and it connects with the electromagnetic force. And how does it connect with the electromagnetic force besides the fact that it is the electromagnetic force sigil symbol? Well, 528 hertz, that's the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum, right? And 550 days, or 181 days, equals 5 months and 28 days. Like 528 hertz, the precise center of the electromagnetic color spectrum. And the 55th octave above sound is light. 55 lines up with 528 hertz on my Thoughts to Jed Pillar calendar cipher system, when 550 days equals 18 months and 1 day, like 181. Photons represent the entire spectrum of electromagnetic radiation, and they're the smallest possible particles of light. The geometry for photons equals 528 hertz. And your L11th Fibonacci equals 55. Don't let people tell you that that's the 10th Fibonacci, because it's the L11th Fibonacci, and this proves it right here, because this is the electromagnetic force, and 550 days equals 18 months and 1 day, like 181. And L11 days equals 3.01% of the year, when 181 minutes equals 301 in time. And L mirrored and flipped equals 73. See if you mirror and flip that, because we're mirroring and flipping things. L mirrored and flipped is a 73. When the date 7-3 equals 181 days remain. Not only that, 61, 610 in time equals 1810 in time. There's 61 circles in the Flower of Life, and time converts to 181. Not only that, 610 days equals 1 year, 8 months, and 1 day. 1 year, 8 months, and 1 day, like 181. That's a lot of fucking time to be like cycling over 610 converting to 1810 in military time. So 61 mirrored and flipped is 19. We have 19 circles in the Flower of Life and 61 circles in the Flower of Life. 190 weeks equals 1331 days. Like your 1331 symbol, lining up with your electromagnetic force, L11 days. That's a fucking 11. It's the electromagnetic force. L11 days equals 3.01% of the year, like 181 minutes equals 301 in time. Watch this shit. Leo, mirrored and flipped, is 037. Leo the lion holds the Flower of Life. There's 61 circles in that Flower of Life. When 610 converts to 1810, and 610 days equals 1 year, 8 months, and 1 day. 61 minutes equals 101 in time. And if you were to stack 2 101s on top of each other, it creates the 181. So there's the L11 times L11 equaling 121. L mirrored and flipped equals 73. When 730 minutes equals 1210 in time. So this is, oh yeah, the number 1331. 190 weeks equaling 1331 days. Your 19 circles in the flower of life. And your L11 times L11 times L11 equaling 1331. Fucking bananas. Fucking bananas. So, this is the 60-digit repeating Fibonacci pattern that recycles itself infinitely at the 101. So this thing recycles itself infinitely at the 101, and it's a 60-digit pattern that fits perfectly over a clock, and this pattern repeats itself infinitely. And like a mathematical Ouroboros snake eating its own tail, it recycles itself at the 101. Like 61 minutes equaling 101 in time. Your 61 circles in the flower of life. It could also be recycled at the 1011. So 611 minutes equals 1011 in time. And this is where the shit gets crazy. Because from 611 to 1011, on 611 of 2023, that's when Pluto went and backspinned into Capricorn, and on 1011, that's when Pluto went direct. Remember, 611 minutes equals 1011 in time, and from 611, Pluto backspinned into Capricorn, to 1011, Pluto went direct into Capricorn, equals 17 weeks and 4 days, like your solfeggio tone, 174 hertz. Knowing that, from the date 10/11 of 2023, when Pluto went direct into Capricorn, to the 77-year anniversary of Israel claiming their occupation on 5/14 of 2025 equals 1 year, 7 months, and 4 days. Like your solfeggio tone, 174, and 174 hertz. 741 is your throat chakra. 741 minutes equals 1221 in time, and 1221 days equals 174 weeks. Like your solfeggio tone, 174 hertz. Your holy, your Christ oil, 710, mirrored and flipped, being oil. The date 710 equals 174 days remain, and 71 minutes equals 111 in time. And fucking yeah, your Leo, your law enforcement officer, and your 37 degrees in Freemasonry. We're not Freemasons. We're not Freemasons at all. From the Maui fires on 8/8, your Lionsgate portal to your genocide beginning on 10/7, equaling 61 days. It's fucking concerning. Very concerning. And you're getting 57. Christ is boiling in shit when 5 hours and 70 minutes equals 610 in time, and 610 converts to 1810, like 181, and your resolution 181. So check it out. Focus on this thing. From the beginning of the, actually let's focus on this thing, because this is the mathematical Ouroboros, and the Skull and Bones fraternity, they're the worshippers of the cube and the worshippers of the plutocracy. Pluto going into Capricorn on 10/11 of 2023 to the 77-year anniversary of Israel claiming their occupation on 5/14 of 2025 equals 1 year, 7 months, and 4 days, like your holy fancy 174 hertz. And 174 mirrored is 471. 147 days and 1 hour equals 1129 hours, like resolution 181 established on 1129. What a fucking coincidence, especially that 4 hours and 71 minutes equals 511 in time, and 511 in time equals 311 minutes, like your adoption of the Confederate States Constitution on 311, lining up with 44 fucking hertz, equaling 71 days, equaling 182 days after 9/11. It's the same fucking day that these cocksuckers declared COVID-19 on 311, a leap year, 2020. 2020. Drop the 0. 202 minutes equals 322 in time, like your Skull and Bones fraternity on 322. And from 322 of 2024 to the opening ceremony of the Olympics, where they're mocking the Last Supper on 7/26 of 2024, that equals 18 weeks and 1 day, like 181. The date 5-7 equals 18 weeks and 1 day, like you're getting 5-7. Christ boils in shit. And 5 hours and 70 minutes equals 610 in time, and 610 in time converts to 1810 in time, like your resolution 181 established on 11/29. So if you guys are wondering if I've cracked this calendar system and broken the matrix, you could say that I have, because whenever I was here at Sutter's Mill, where James Marshall penned the first gold and set off the California gold rush of 1850, they were extracting gold. And when you follow the Yellow Brick Road and the Christ oil, the mill, this is what crushes the ore to get the gold. The gold, it's ion, chemical ionic character. See, it's an ion, gold, it's an ion. Remember that shit. The mill crushes up the ore to get the ions. And the heir, that's the person that receives the wealth when the person has passed away. In this case, all the people that they fucking genocided from colonization and this shit show that we're witnessing here on Earth. And these millionaires, the mill ion heir is the millionaire. And these people weren't millionaires before they got the gold. They were all in debt. People like Brigham Young sending his Mormon battalion to Sutter's Mill, Coloma. Yeah. L. Mirrored and flipped, being 73. And this is the Lionsgate portal. You guys want to see a visual on how this connects with the 181. Remember, I channeled the 181 on 5/19. The date 5/19 is when I channeled the 181. On 8/8 is when I channeled the thought to jet pillars, connecting frequency with time. And that's what this shit is, kids. Connecting frequency with time. The date 5/19 is when I channeled the 181. 519 days equals 74 weeks and 1 day, like the solfeggial tone frequency with 741 hertz. And 88 months equals 7 years, 4 months, and 1 day, connecting frequency with time. With solfeggial tones. 880 hertz, that's the 8th harmonic in 110 hertz, the root harmonic of 44 hertz in the 2nd octave. So yeah, this shit's been pent up for months, and now I'm finally getting out, so just forgive me. But yeah, 8/8, the Lionsgate portal equals 220 days, equaling 221 days on leap year. And remember, 181 days equals 5 months and 28 days. And 22 days equals 528 hours, like 8/8 equaling 220 days. 22. 8/8 equals 221 days on leap year. 1 hour and 81 minutes equals 221 in time. See how that shit just keeps overlapping? And your 61 circles in the flower of life, Leo, mirrored and flipped, is 037. See how that spells Leo upside down? And Leo the lion, he's holding the flower of life. There's 61 circles in that flower of life. 370 minutes equals 610 in time. And a mathematical proof for all the haters out there and deniers that don't believe in this shit. Here's some math that'll prove it. And shut your dumbasses up. 37 times 3 equals 111. When 61 circles in the flower of life times 3 equals 183. When 1830 in military time equals 111. 0 minutes, like 111. And there's your mathematical proof, kids. And we're talking about time, frequency, mathematics. Nobody's connected frequency with time and the calendar system. The only people that have are the people that are in power and living in a hierarchy above us, and living in this higher level of synchronicity, and watching all of us use the shit crumbs of the knowledge, and we're all just butting heads, wondering what the fuck is the truth. Your geometry for doorway and portals equals 101. You stack the two 101s on top of each other, it creates the 181. Yeah, 101 minutes equals 141 in time. 141 minutes equals 221 in time. And yeah, this thing just like 61 minutes equals 101. 610 days equals 1 year, 8 months, and 1 day. When 1810 converts to 610 in time. And this thing just overlaps and overlaps. So, remember I channeled the 181 on 519 and 11 days before on 5/9, that's when I channeled the 9th harmonic of the photon belt, saying that I posted it the post saying that we're in the ninth harmonic of the photon belt, allowing us a glimpse of the veil living in a 44 hertz altered frequency. And I left it at that. And it was the same day that I researched the story of Romo saying his twin brother Remo, the first day of the mocking, the first day of the celebration. You could say that 181. One eats the other one. And this is in 44 BC. And 11 days later, I channeled the 181. When 11 days equals 3.01% of the year, and 181 minutes equals 301 in time. Where is that at? There it is, right there. 11 days equals 3.01% of the year, when 181 minutes equals 301 in time. So literally just tapped into a frequency that was already existing, because I'm not making this up. This shit was already existing. It's already ingrained into the mathematics, into the calendar, into the language, and this is like the skeleton of the Thathajit pillars. We're taking apart the Kundalini section by section and getting the 1331. That 1331 is one dimension. The 181 is one dimension of this. The root chakra, the sacrum, the solar plexus, the heart chakra. So when we take apart those sections, it can be looked at as two lines, the electromagnetic force, but they're curved lines. But these numbers represent these curved lines, so we can calculate and understand it a little bit better. So that's why I use the numbers. So these symbols, it's representing, the circle is representing the tube that's running from the prana to the ether, from the earth to the ether, this prana tube, and this electromagnetic force, the masculine going up like a snake, and the feminine coming down. And we're taking apart these sections, and we're getting these symbols that are represented by these numbers. And you can incorporate the flower of life. 61 minutes equals 101 in time. There's your 101. And when we incorporate the number of broken space-time symmetry and photon absorption, the golden angle, what do we do whenever light is shining down on us? We're absorbing light. We're absorbing photons. It's going into our eyeballs and telling us, you're seeing grass on the ground. It's green grass. Your mind is telling you that that's what you're seeing. So 137.5, the number of broken space-time symmetry and photon absorption, times 8 equals 110 hertz. Your root harmonic of 44 hertz in the second octave. Whenever we take apart the word Thoth in capital letters, Thoth, you get a circle, the crown, and that's like the top of the tube. You get your 5 sets of 11. Whenever 11 times 5 equals 55, and your L11th Fibonacci equals 55. L11 and your L11th Fibonacci. When 550 days equals 18 months in one day, like your 181 symbol. And L11 days equals 3.01% of the year, like 181, and it's equaling 301 in time. So this thing is mathematically sound. And your 19 stars in flower of life, 190 weeks equals 1331 days, like your 1331 sigil symbol here. And another way that we can write Thoth is +1, -1, 0, +1, -1. It's again showing us the masculine +1 and the feminine -1. That's your negative cathode in, and the positive is the positive anode out. The electrons are being pushed out. The negative electrons are being sucked in. And the divine feminine is the observation and the feeling, the processing, the intuition. The masculine is the manifestation of honoring those feelings and what's been created within. So, you're 37 degrees in Freemasonry. Leo, the lion, law enforcement officer, mirrored and flipped, equals 37. We're not Freemasons. And Leo, the L ion, the square ion, because they like to square things, holds the flower of life, and there's 61 circles in that flower of life when 370 minutes equals 610 in time, and 61 minutes equals 101. From the line of fires, your Lion's Gate portal, equaling 221 days on leap year, when 1 hour and 81 minutes equals 221, and 610 in time equals 1810 in time. round and round we go. Yeah, from the line of Iron Fighters on the Lionsgate portal of 2023 to the Gaza attacks on 10/7 equals 61 days. When 61 minutes equals 101, and the geometry for ley lines equals 101, and this shit happened on ley lines. And the geometry for Palestine happened on, or equals 101, and that shit happened in fucking Palestine. And the geometry for Maui fires equals 101. And the geometry for climate change equals 101, and they're trying to blame all this shit on climate change? That's a fucking lot of coincidences, huh? And yeah, that guy, he was involved in the Maui fires and the Las Vegas Harvest Music Festival shootings, and now the Sean Diddy Combs lawsuit. And yeah, from the Palisades fires on 1/7, Palestine 10/7, Palisades 1/7, Christ crucified on 4/3 equaling 67 hertz on my calendar cipher when 67 minutes equals 107 in time, and Abraham Lincoln's mass record hanging of 38 men on the date 3/8 lines up with 67 days. That's a coincidence. Yeah, and yeah, remember that Gittin 5/7. Christ is boiling in shit. And 5 hours and 70 minutes equals 6:10 in time. Like your 61 circles in the flower of life and this whole entire shit show going on right here. And from the Paradise fires on 11/8 of 2018 to your Maui fires on 8/8 of 2023 equals 57 months. Like 5 hours and 70 minutes equaling 6:10 in time. From the Harvest Music Festival on 10/1 of 2017 to your Paradise fires on 11/8 equaling 57 weeks equaling 404 days. Yeah, Christ crucified on 4/3. The next day is 4/4, like 44 hertz. Like 3/11 equaling 44 hertz on my calendar cipher system, and that's the adoption of the Confederacy's Constitution equaling 71 days, like 430 minutes equaling 7:10 in time. Your Christ oil mirrored and flipped is 7:10. Oil mirrored and flipped is 7:10. Oil in capital letters is 7:10. And the date 7:10 lines up with 670 hertz, when 670 minutes equals 11:10 in time, like 111. And 71 minutes equals 111 in time, like 111, like the holy frequency being 101. The frequency that releases plasma endorphins, and that is stimulated by oxytocin. And that also stimulates your nitric oxide within the heart. And that works with your bicarbonate L electrolytes within the sacrum, and that fuels your oxidative phosphorylation, your inner light. And I may not be making any sense to you folks, but I got a lot of catching up to do with you guys, and knowing that the Indian Removal Act of 1830 was on 1830 and it was signed into law by your Grand Master Mason, President Andrew Jackson, and 37 degrees in Freemasonry, Leo mirrored and flipped being 037, 37 degrees in Freemasonry, 300 centimeters equals 610 in time, 37 times 3 equals 111, and 61 times 3 equals 183, when 1830 in military time equals 1110 minutes. So, knowing that, 61 circles in the flower of life equals 183. Now, from the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant being unalived on 1/26 of 2020 to the first day of entering the year of the snake on 1/29 of 2025, 67 people perished over runway 33. The Kansas City flight, or the American Eagle flight from Kansas City, from the Black Mamba, being unalived on 1/26 of 2020 to 1/29 of 2025, runway 33, 67 people perished from American Eagle flights from Kansas City equals 1,830 days, like your Indian Removal Act of 1830. And that equals 60 weeks and 3 days, like the date 603 equaling 154 days, and the judges were founded in 1540. Interesting. And the gematria for Kobe being 33 and 67. Remember, folks, that Christ was crucified on the date 4/3 at age 33 and 33 AD, when the date 4/3 equals 3 months and 3 days, like 33. And the date 4/3 lines up with 67 hertz, like 67 people perishing over runway 33 1,830 days after Kobe Bryant was unalived on 126, when the mass record hanging of Abraham Lincoln's 38 men was on 1226, 1226, 126. The dimensions of the cube being 2160. See how they like to use the same fucking numbers? Yeah, and 670 minutes equals 1110 in time, and 1830 military time equals 1110 minutes. Like the days of the dead on 11/1, like your Indian removal of 1830. How many days separates that? 1,830 days. 67 people perishing over runway 33. And the gematria for Kobe Bryant is 67 and 33. And the date 6/7 lines up with 330 hertz. And 5/9 Lemuria, 59 days, lines up with 33 hertz. Yeah, the shit just goes round and round and round. One giant mockery. And yeah, so after this happened, 5 days later, we had the 67th annual Grammy Awards. That was 5 days after 67 people perishing over runway 33 on the first day of the year of the snake. And 5 days, that equals 1.37% of the year, like your 33rd prime 137. And remember, that's your 67th annual Grammy Awards, like Kobe 33, 67 people perishing, Christ crucified on 4/3, equaling 67 hertz on my calendar cipher system at age 33. In 33 AD, when 4/3 equals 3 months and 3 days. And remember, kids, 430 minutes equals 710 in time. 710 in time, or the date 710 lines up with 670 hertz, equaling 174 days remain. And 710, mirror and flip it upside down, it spells the word oil. Your Christ oil in 71 minutes equals 111 in time. And your crown chakra, 963 hertz minus 111 hertz equals your third eye audio, 852 hertz, 111. And your plasma endorphins, stimulated by 111 hertz, the holy frequency stimulates endorphin release through the hypothalamus chamber. And that's your plasma endorphins, your inner light, your inner Christ consciousness. And that's polypeptide oil, protein oil. And it's piezoelectric. It's a liquid crystal and electromagnetic. So one ritual attacking our light. So let's see. From the first day of the year, or from the first day of entering the year of the snake on 129, 67 people perishing over runway 33, to the Oscars, 97th annual Oscars ceremony on the 33rd day, or actually not the 33rd day, it equals 33 days. 3/2, that equals 2 months and 2 days. But yeah, from Kobe Bryant, or no, from the first day of entering the year of the snake on 129, 67 people perishing over runway 33, to the 97th annual Oscar Awards ceremony equals 33 days. And 97 minutes equals 137 in time, like your 33rd prime 137. Round and round we go with this little thing. And this is the Oscars ceremony backdrop. Looks a lot like the Freemason compass and square, doesn't it? And your Oscars, that's the ceremonial C-section. It's a masculine that they put right there on the woman's sacrum, right where Julius Caesar was assassinated. Your Caesarean C-section. Interesting. 44 hertz, that's where 44 hertz is located. And Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, and they're doing a little masculine ceremonial incision. The doctor, the man, controls the birth and controls the time while shunning the divine feminine circle. Say the word revolution. It means when the people come together and take down the ruler. What's the ruler? It's the masculine. The word line is in masculine. The word 9 is in feminine. It takes 9 months for a woman to create the circle and create the creation. So yeah, one giant fucking mockery, kids. And from the 162-year anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's mass record hanging of 38 men on 12/26 of 2024 to the 67th or to the 97th annual Oscar Awards ceremony equals 67 days.
like 67 people perishing over runway 33, and like Christ being crucified on 4-3 equaling 67 hertz at age 33 and 33 AD when the date 4-3 equals 3 months and 3 days, and 430 minutes equals 710 in time. The date 710 lines up with 670 hertz on my calendar cipher system when 670 minutes equals 1110 in time, like 111, and 71 minutes equals 111 in time, like 111, the holy frequency. Yeah, and the next day after Christ is crucified on 4-3, it's the date 4-4. Round and round we go with this little colonization ritual. And your 162-year anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's mass record hanging, that was on 2024, right? And the Jesuits were founded in 1540 from the opening ceremony, or from the mocking of the Last Supper, the opening ceremony of the Olympics on 7/26 of 2024 to the 162-year anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's mass record hanging of 38 men, where Pope Francis I, Jesuit Pope, opened the holy prison door, equals 154 days, like the Jesuits founded in 1540. So see how they're using the same numbers, 1226, 162-year anniversary, and they opened up the holy portal door 154 days after the opening ceremony of the Olympics, where they're mocking the Last Supper, and the Last Supper measures 181 inches in height. And see how they're using the same numbers, 1226, Abraham Lincoln's mass record hanging. Your 216, that's the dimensions of the cube. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. That can be written as 6 to the third power equals 216. And the date 6-3, like 6 to the third power, the date 6-3 equals 154 days, like the Jesuits founded in 1540, and the date 630 equals 181 days, like your resolution 181, like your Ramos saying his twin brother Remo 181, and all that colonization shit. So, from Kobe Bryant being unalived on 1/26 of 2020 to the day after the Daytona 500 on the 67th anniversary equals 1,850 days, like the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. And 185 minutes equals 305 in time, and that's the gematria for Abraham Lincoln's name. And he's had the mass record hanging of 38 men, right? And yeah, the 67th annual anniversary, one giant mockery. Let's see if I'm leaving out anything here. Oh, yeah. So the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, 185 minutes equals 305 in time, when 30.5 plus 30.5 equals 61 circles in the flower of life. Your Leo, law enforcement officer, James Marshall paying the first gold. The Marshal apprehends the fugitive Slave Act of 1850, the California Gold Rush of 1850. Follow the fucking gold, kids. Follow the Yellow Brick Road. Leo mirrored and flipped equals 037. Leo the lion holds the flower of life for 61 circles in that flower of life when 370 minutes equals 610 in time. Your Fugitive Slave Act to 1850. 185 minutes equals 305 in time when 30.5 plus 30.5 equals 61 circles in the flower of life. So Abraham Lincoln, he had the mass record hanging. He's on the Black Hills. They broke the treaty and slapped these dipshits' faces up here. And this was completed on 10/31, the 305th day of the year, like the gematria for Abraham Lincoln. The gematria for Abraham Lincoln equaling 305 when 185 minutes equals 305 in time, like your Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 and your mass record hanging of Abraham Lincoln. What a surprise. So, let's dig deeper into this. Let's see how much further this goes. The Leo mirrored and flipped being 037. Leo the lion holds the flower of life. Law enforcement officer. 61 circles in the flower of life. 370 minutes equals 610 in time. You're 37 degrees in Freemasonry. 610 minutes equals, or 61 minutes equals 101 in time. 101 minutes equals 141 in time. Now your 141st prime equals 811. And from 141 to 811 equals 1830 in time, equaling 18.5 hours, equaling 1110 minutes. Like your Fugitive Slave Act 1850, like your Days of the Dead on 11/1, and your Indian Removal Act of 1830. Pretty fucking neat, huh? Now, from the Indian Removal Act of 1830 on 5/28, signed into law by your Grandmaster Mason, President Andrew Jackson, to the establishment of Resolution 181 on 11/29 of 1947, endorsed by your other Grandmaster Mason, President Harry Truman, a 33rd degree Freemason, equals 1410 months. Like 101 minutes equaling 141 in time, and 61 minutes equaling 101 in time, and 370 minutes equaling 610 in time, and you're 37 degrees in Freemasonry. Law enforcement officer is Leo, and you flip that upside down, it's 037. Get 37 degrees in Freemasonry. And 846, that represents the symbol of police brutality, and that's how long George Floyd was held down. And his last words were, I can't breathe, and the geometry for I can't breathe equals 101, when 101 minutes equals 141 in time, and 846 minutes equals 14.1 hours, like 846 on 9/11, like your Jewish Colonization Association 9/11, and your Order of the Jesuits IXXI equals 9/11, and 9/11 minutes equals 3:11 in time, and all that shit. So on 9/11, when the twins were sacrificed, like Romo sang his twin brother Remo, 181, 5:11 in time equals 3:11 minutes, when 9/11 minutes equals 3:11 in time. So 846 minutes equaling 141 in time, and the North Tower being hit precisely at 846 and then collapsed at 1028, when the date 1028 equals 301 days and 181 minutes equals 301 in time. Yeah, the Twin Towers, they're fucking 110 stories tall. Like 110 hertz, the root harmonic of 44 hertz in the second octave. And it's too many numbers for you guys to look at. So the Twin Towers, they're 110 stories tall. From the Jewish Colonization Association on 9/11 of 1891, created by our Bavarian philanthropist Maurice de Hirsch, plus 110 years precisely equals 9/11 of 2001. Never forget, remember, Flight L11 hits the 110-story tower, North Tower, 846, and they collapsed at 1028. And 110 hertz, that's the root harmonic of 44 hertz in the second octave, and hit by Flight 11. The towers were 110 stories tall, and the grand opening of the Twin Towers in 1973 was on 4/4, like 44 hertz, the second octave of 110 hertz, or 110 hertz being the second octave of 44 hertz. So for 110 years to separate 9/11 of 1891, when the Jewish Colonization Association was created, plus 110 years equaling 9/11 of 2001, and hitting at 846 and collapsing at 1028, when 101 plus 10 months and 28 days equals 1129, the date that Resolution 181 was established. And 128, that's your 7th Matic cell division, 101 plus 128 days equals 59 the Lemuria, 181. Remember that 610 in time converts to 1810 in time, like 181, this whole fucking thing. So, yeah, one giant clusterfuck, and 181 days equaling 5 months and 28 days. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 was on 5/28, and yeah, this is how all the numbers of 128 and 281 and 821 and 1028, they all line up with 99 hertz on my calendar cipher system. 821 lines up with 999 hertz. The date 812, where are you at? Anyways, yeah, I could go a fucking like million directions right now, but I'm just like trying to give you guys somewhat of a crash course on where I'm at here. So until we start disassembling their language, nobody's gonna decode these assholes until you guys start like really cracking down on their shit. Getting 57, Christ boils in shit. 5/7 equaling 128 days. So that's the 7th Matic cell division, right? 7 mirrored and flipped, it's L. See that 90-degree square? That's an L. And the G, that's your 7th note, like 7 mirrored and flipped being L. When a light passes through a crystal, when white light passes through a crystal, it separates into 7 rays. Gnosis. That G stands for Gnosis. It's the 7th letter. The frequency 1540 hertz equals note G in music. The Jesuits were founded in 1540. Now, getting 57. Christ boils and shit, right? The 7th melodic cell division equals 128. The frequency of the flower of life resonates at 128 hertz. The date 5/7 equals 128 days. 5/7 plus 5/7 equals 114. 114 minutes equals 154 in time, like the Jesuits founded in 1540. So remember this number 128. That's the 7th melodic cell division. And 1,280 days equals 182 weeks. Like your Missouri Compromise of 1820 and all that shit. And so look at this number. Your 7th melodic cell division being 128. Colonization numbers out the ass. 101 plus 1 month and 28 days equals 229. Alessandro Farnesi's birthday approved. He's the one that approved the Jesuit order. Roman Catholic military order. Colonizers. 101 plus 128 days equals 59 Lemuria. 44 BC, 181. Romo's twin brother agreement. Colonization, fall of the Roman Republic, and the rise of the Roman Empire. 101 plus 59 days equals the date 301. 181 minutes equals 301. 301 days equals 1028. When we're starting off with 128, 1028, concluding this little colonization equation with 101 plus 10 months and 28 days equaling 1129. The date that resolution 181 was established. Like 59 Lemuria, 181, and all that shit. Yeah, so I've been making this mistake for months, saying that 47 days equals 1129 hours, when 47 days actually equals 1128 hours. 47 days and 1 hour equals 1129 hours. So 47 days and 1 hour, 471, like your whole frequency, 174 hertz, mirrored 174 hertz, your holy frequency. 710, your Christ oil, equals 174 days remain. So 471 is the holy frequency backwards, a solfeggio tone. So 47 days and 1 hour equaling 1129 hours, and 4 hours and 71 minutes equaling 511 in time, equaling 311 minutes, like your adoption of the Confederate States Constitution on 311, and your Lemuria on 511, and 911 minutes equals 311 in time, like your Jewish Colonization Association on 911, connecting this whole entire shit show. So yeah, watch this shit. 7 plus 7 equals 14. Your 14th harmonic is 1540. 177 plus 77 equals 154, equaling note G, the 7th letter of the alphabet. See all the 7s? And the date 77 equals 630 hertz, and the date 63 equals 154 days. Remember, 77 plus 77 equals 154. The Jesuits were founded in 1540. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216, when 6 to the 3rd power equals 216. That whole fucking bullshit? Yeah, it's right there. 6 to the 3rd power equals 216. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. The hexahedron, the cube that lines up with 44 hertz on the calendar cipher system, the Platonic solid that lines up with 44 hertz. The fuck? That's what you're doing, dude.
I am so sorry. Sorry, man.
Fucking A. Other people fucking exist here too. People just open their fucking car doors and fucking just, yeah, fucking retards. I'm gonna go and see if they fucked up my car real quick, so I'm gonna end this right now.